Hello, I'm Frank Allocco, the Executive Senior Associate Athletic Director at USF, and welcome to Tuesday Testimonials. Each week, we host a wide variety of our Dons family, from athletes to coaches, administrators, faculty members, and fans, all who share a common thread, a love for the University of San Francisco. Today, I'm proud to be here with Mary Hile-Nepfel, an amazing person who dedicated 23 years of her life to USF as a player and as a coach. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you, Frank. It's good to be here.
Mary, obviously you're a Bay Area product. I think in that particular time, USF did recruit a lot of kids locally. They're starting to do that once again now. It's nice to see that. But tell me about growing up. I know you grew up in Sunnyvale. Tell me about your history and how you emerged into the player you became.
Well, I'm the youngest of four, and I have two older brothers and an older sister. And I just grew up in an athletic family. My parents were always very supportive, encouraging. And so all through grade school, through high school, I was involved with sports. But in high school, I really didn't know if there was going to be an opportunity to play in college or not. And my freshman year of high school, I wasn't going to play basketball. No. And the coach came to me and said, we think that you've got some ability here and we'd like to have you on the team. My sister, who was a senior in high school at the time, convinced me that, I should give it a try, which I made the varsity team as a freshman. We went on my senior year and we won the CCS championship, which was the first time they had offered the CCS championship for girls basketball. And my parents, even at that time, always encouraged me. They just said, if you want to play, go play. It wasn't about the typical role, maybe for a girl. It was just a natural thing for me to do. And looking back on it, it was probably the best part of my life is sports.
So you have this storybook high school career and you're looking at colleges. How did USF find you and why did you decide to go to USF?
So the coach who was at UCLA was recruiting me. They had come to see some of my playoff games. And then there was a coaching change. And Ella Mosier left, who had recruited me, and Billy Moore came in. I walked into Billy Moore's office and basically she told me that I was a decent player, but I'd have to walk on. And I was just in tears, I think, from the whole ride back from LA back to Sunnyvale. And my parents probably weren't quite sure what to do with me. But in the meantime, USF had been calling, had been coming to my games. And it was actually a high school coach at Santa Clara who went to USF. His name is Bill Meyer. And he kept coming to my high school, to Peterson, dragging me out of my classes to talk to me about USF. And so finally, I just kind of said, okay, Bill, I'll go with you. Take me to USF and I'll check it out. So I go up there and it was just the warmest welcome. It was a total different feel than what I got at UCLA. And it was more about, we want you here. We think you can do some good things here. So, and I think that's all I was really looking for, was somebody who wanted me to play and valued, I think, my skills. So it became a pretty easy decision to make.
So you get done playing college basketball, then you go play professional basketball in Italy. And I know that was the early stages of that. Tell us about playing pro basketball in Italy.
Well, again, I think that opportunity came, was unexpected. I wasn't planning on going to play professional basketball. I had kind of my sights set on going to graduate school at Ohio State. But the opportunity came up and my brother was living in Italy at the time, and I thought if I was going to keep playing, I needed to keep playing now. It wasn't something I could put off for 3 or 4 years or whatever. It was what was different for me, and why I think I only stayed one season and then came back home, is I enjoyed my time at USF so much. And it wasn't all about just playing basketball. Right. Whereas when I went to Italy to play, it was about basketball. And I really missed school. I missed my, just a camaraderie, I think, with friends and classmates and all of that. So I don't think the professional basketball scene was really for me. It was too much just basketball, and I've just thought of myself, I think, as more than that.
So how does one go from, a great athlete with an academic mindset, I'm going to go to grad school, go play pro, you come back, you think you still want to go attack grad school, and then you make a diversion and you go into coaching. Doesn't sound like that was part of the plan.
No, it really wasn't. But I came back after Italy and decided I wanted to stay a little bit closer to home for grad school. I wasn't going to go back east. And I ended up at Long Beach State, and it was one of the best programs on the West Coast at the time. The women's basketball team was ranked in the top 10 year after year, and so working with Joan Bonvicini was, I think, a great way for me to start, to kind of get my foot in the door with coaching. We played a national schedule, so I was meeting coaches from all across the country. And that's where I met Bill. He was Joan's assistant. So Bill and I had worked together for a couple years at Long Beach. But, I really wasn't sure when I got into it if this was something going to be long-term with coaching or not. But I just kind of kept putting one foot in front of the other. And I think I loved the game of basketball. I just had a hard time, I think, leaving it. And again, trying to give the sport something back, that I had received so much from, and give that to others.
Well, you're the winningest coach in USF history, 2-time WCC Coach of the Year, 3 WCC titles, pretty amazing, 3 consecutive NCAA trips. You hit the big time in 1996. You beat Duke in Florida, Sweet 16. You end up 16th in the final polls. Was that a special season for you?
Yeah, I think about that Duke game every once in a while. And what was interesting about that whole setup was we had been in the tournament the year before, lost in the first round to Arkansas. And I'll never forget the locker room after that game, because the girls were really disappointed. They thought they could have done better. And we had all the starters back for the next year. And so the next year we get to the tournament and we find out we're going to play at Duke. And that's exactly where I wanted to go, because I've been a Duke fan and Coach K and all that. So I was just excited about going to Cameron Indoor Stadium. And so Bill says to me, well, you figure out how to beat Florida, because that's who we were playing in the first round. He goes, you get us past Florida, then I'll take Duke in the second round. So we beat Florida. Valerie Gillon, the player from Belgium, just had an amazing game. She was tough. And so anyway, we beat Florida. So as soon as the game was over, I said, okay, it's your turn. So now you got to come up with a game plan for Duke. And it was just fun. It was just a great weekend. My parents traveled with us, and it was, I don't know, it was just one of those times that you just wish you could go back to, in a heartbeat, and all the people that came with us, and then to win at Duke, to beat Duke on their home court was just a really special night.
Mary, you're the first All-American in women's basketball history at USF, and you're one of the first pioneers of women's basketball. You joined up with some courageous and persistent women and athletic directors who really worked hard to bring women's basketball. How do you balance those two things? The greatness that you had, where do you take more pride in?
I think in just their relationships. I think that's what I've been about at every level. And, relationships that you build with your players, build with other coaches, with your colleagues, with administrators, because it's all about everyone kind of doing their part to help something grow and to build something. So it's never been about me. It's been more about how you build a team and how you build people up and you encourage others. And so that's, I think, that hopefully the common thread through my life has been about building relationships.
But with that being said, you have had some individual recognition, with your number being retired and joining some legendary people up on that wall in the rafters, and in honor in the Hall of Fame also in 1985. What was it like to have your number retired and join the illustrious Hall of Fame?
Again, things that I just never dreamt really about. Wasn't my focus, wasn't what motivated me. But when those things came, I was just extremely grateful, I think, to be recognized in that way. And being the first woman inducted into the USF Hall of Fame, again, it was quite an honor. I was so nervous that night. But again, it wasn't about me. It was about the women that were coming in behind me. That was more important, I think, to me, that finally someone was recognized, and it opened the door for other women to follow.
That's great. Well, in conclusion of Tuesday testimonials, I always like to ask one question. Why are you still here? What makes you still be a part of the fabric of USF?
I love USF. Again, I think it's the people that I stay there for. And now being a teacher there on the campus, it's the students that draw me and keep me there. I learned so much from the young people. And I think just the Jesuit philosophy, it's something I probably didn't appreciate a whole lot when I was a student there and even coaching. But now that I've come back to campus and I'm much more involved with my church, and I think just, I really have fallen in love with Ignatian spirituality. I think it's just has really helped to guide my life these last 7-8 years. And so USF has grounded me. It always did, even though maybe I didn't realize it at the time. But I love the Hilltop, and my heart is there, and I keep coming back.
It seems like it, right? From the magnet that keeps drawing you back from pro basketball, from all the various coaches spots. And we're lucky to have you. I thank you for your time, for the difference you've made as a student athlete, as a coach, as an athletic leader, a pioneer in Title IX who really set the standard for the many women who have received opportunities through your lifetime. And I'd just like to say thank you, Mary, to a competitive legend, a caring citizen, devoted Don, and you've been a mentor to so many in your mission to change the world from here. Thank you very much, Mary.
Yeah, thank you, Frank. I appreciate the time. Thank you.